Today is July 10th, 2019, and I'm sitting here with my good friend Hank Sousa. Actually, he's not really my good friend, he's my friend. Well, actually, when you come right down to it, he's somebody I know. Okay? But anyways, we're doing a little story about Hank Sousa today, okay? And so Hank, we're going to talk about you. Instead, because whenever we get together, we're always talking about me. So it's only appropriate that we finally get around to talking about you.
Okay.
So Hank, how old are you?
80 years old in March.
You're 80.
In March.
I never thought you were that damn old. I thought you were a lot younger. What the hell? Damn, I was going to say you look good for 70, but you don't look so good for 80.
I was in Vietnam, I have to be 80.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, everybody that was in Vietnam now is older.
They're dead, most of them.
Yeah, a lot of guys are gone. So, Hank, you grew up with your grandmother.
Yes.
A good Polish woman.
My maternal grandmother.
Yeah, you started off in Southie.
Yep.
Back, what year was that? Was that that was right after the war, wasn't it?
1939 on to 1945, the end of the war, and probably for another 1950, I think we moved to Wilmington.
Yeah, wow. Do you remember your mother?
The only thing I remember about my mother is when she was waked at the house on Boston Street in South Boston. That's the only memory I have of her. My Aunt Jean made me kiss her every night. It used to scare the hell out of me.
Now, your father died at the same time, but you don't remember anything about him, huh?
No.
No. And so your mother died, and she was waked at the house. And how old were you then?
10, I think.
About 10?
Let me think about that.
Because you remember kissing her, but you don't remember a lot of the details around it. You would have remembered your father if you were 10.
I don't remember.
You must have been, I would peg you for 3.
Yeah.
You know, because you don't remember your father, but you just remember kissing your mother, but you don't remember your mother.
Yeah, it's 3.
Yeah, you must have been about somewhere in that 2 to 3 age
I don't
range.
remember my mother, but I remember the wake room, because there were so many flowers.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's something. And so you grew, but your grandmother took you in, and she raised you. And then you have any aunts and uncles?
I have 2 aunts, 2 uncles. One of the uncles died of tuberculosis. One of the daughters also had tuberculosis, but survived it.
Now, of those people, did you know them all when you were growing up, or did you meet some of them? I thought one of your
I met them starting after the war was over.
Because some of the uncles were in the service, right?
One of the uncles was in the service.
What about the other guy?
I never met his wife, my Aunt Ann,
Wow.
until after he came home. I didn't know who she was. My Aunt Jean was home about the same time when she got cured of tuberculosis. And her husband, Carl, I didn't know who he was or where he was or anything until one day he showed up. We came home from someplace and they were on the couch making out. My Aunt Jean and her.
How old were you then?
I don't remember.
10? 5?
Maybe 6.
So you grew up in Southie, so you were 3 years old when your mother died. And how old were you when you moved out of Southie?
I don't know.
What grade do you think you were in when you went into the Wilmington? Was it Wilmington that you moved to?
Yes.
So what grade do you think you went into in school in Wilmington?
I don't know.
Do you think it was middle school, or you think it was grammar school? Do you think it was high school?
Oh, no.
It wasn't high school.
Oh, junior high. I did both of those at Wilmington.
Okay, so it was towards the end of your 5th grade or something? Fourth or 5th grade. So, and that means from 3 until you were about, what would you say, about 10, you were playing on the streets of Southie.
Yeah, in the backyard of the house.
In the backyard of the house.
Yeah.
You remember anything interesting about Southie?
Yeah, I liked it.
Did you have a chicken coop or something on the back?
We had a pigeon coop, we had a chicken coop, we had a duck coop. I built a 3-story building. The top building was pigeons.
No.
The middle pigeons was
Well, you have chickens?
yeah, they're down on the ground floor.
So they were in the bottom, so you had pigeons.
The second
And
floor
you had
was
ducks?
only one pair.
Hmm.
The second floor was storage of food for the ducks, for the chickens, and I had a pair of Flemish giant rabbits.
Oh, okay. So
And then the first floor was a workshop, and the chicken coop was inside rather. The only thing that was outside was the chickens when they come out during the day, and they were enclosed in a building made of chicken wire. And the reason is we didn't want the hawks getting at the chickens. So they went right over the roof and everything, so the hawks couldn't
couldn't
get
get
them.
in them, yeah.
And we had roosters.
Now,
We did.
who took care of the chickens?
That was my job. I took care of everything in the house.
So
That was
did
my
your
job.
grandmother built this coop, and then you had to take care
No,
of it?
Sia Kadork, a friend of the family.
Okay, so a guy that was in the neighborhood.
No, he is a friend of my family from the old country.
Okay. So was he a friend of your grandmother's?
Yes.
A romantic friend?
No.
Okay, so but he knew her and he stayed in touch with her. Now, do you remember
He lived
being?
at a house as a boarder.
Oh, okay, as a boarder. Okay. Do you remember? Do you remember being on the streets of Southie as a child?
Yes.
Whereabouts? What'd you do?
Right in front of the house. When I go to the theater in Upman's Corner, I would take the streetcar. I would hop on the back and ride the streetcar. I was getting off, pull the cord, disconnect it. The streetcar would stop. But what I do is get off the knuckle, that thing is called,
Yeah.
and reconnect the car so the drivers wouldn't get pissed at me.
Oh, so you cut the air so the. So
The electricity,
Oh, okay.
they were electric driven. And I'd hook it back up and then go to the movie. But that would give me an extra nickel or a dime for candy.
Yeah.
So I said,
Yeah. Back in the day, an extra nickel or a dime was a lot.
it was a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah. You got a candy bar out of that,
Yeah.
or an ice cream. Yeah.
Yeah.
The so that was all around. We're saying you said 37 and on. So I was born in 47. You're 7 years
I was born
older
in
than
39.
me.
I was born in 39.
I was going to say, yeah, you were born in either 40, 39. Okay, so you were going to the movies roughly from 45 to 50, something like that. And
Yeah, my uncle was home, and the reason I remember that is when they went looking for me when I was at the movie when I shouldn't have been there at the time. My Uncle Johnny's the one that found me both times.
yeah,
So he was home from the war.
yeah. So okay, so that was after 45.
Yeah.
Yeah. The you remember swimming in what's the name of the
Silver Lake.
No. When you were in Southie, wasn't it Pleasant Bay? Is that one of the
Carson Beach.
Carson Beach? So do you remember going to Carson Beach as a kid?
Yes.
Any other interesting things in Southie?
Kelly's Landing for
Yeah.
crabbing.
Do you remember seeing much of your aunts and uncles when you were in Southie?
I saw my Aunt Jean until she got engaged with Colin. I didn't see much of her. She came to the house, but it wasn't personal.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, she was just visiting your grandmother.
She didn't say hi to me, you know.
Yeah.
She used to take me to the Christmas shows at Jordan Marsh and stuff
Oh,
like
okay.
that.
Yeah.
She used to take me all kinds of places until she got engaged with Colin, and she never took me anyplace.
Yeah. So when do you think you moved to Wilmington?
I think it was 1950, but I'm not sure.
About 1950. Well, that sounds about right because that put you at about 10 or 11. And so it was just before you did middle school. So you did middle school in Wilmington. In high school. Now, in high school, were you like the star of the school, the smartest kid in class?
I was none of those things.
What were you?
shithead.
I can buy
No,
that. I can see
wasn't
that.
a shithead. But I wasn't top kid in the class. I didn't think that there was any chance for me in college because my family wasn't supportive of that at all.
Yeah. So they talked you down.
Well, the one day we were having dinner, and the whole family was there, so there was a holiday or something going on.
Yeah.
And I used to sit at the table just with the adults, and they would give me a little glass, like a shot glass. They'd give me with wine, red wine, white wine,
Yep.
and I could have a drink with everybody at the table when they toast and stuff. So I always got that.
Yeah.
So where were we going? So anyway, so I sit at the table, and the conversation that was going on at the table was about jobs.
Okay.
And my Uncle Johnny worked for the railroad before the war, and he saved his job. When he came back from the railroad, he got his job, from the war, he got his old job back again.
Yeah. Yeah.
They used to do things like that, man.
Yeah, but in terms of yourself as a
Well, that's what I'm getting to.
yeah.
And it came to me, they come to me, well, Skippy, my family calls me Skippy. They're the only ones who do. I don't know why, but they do.
Yeah.
They said, Skippy, what do you want to be when you grow up? So I want to be an engineer. Well, they're all railroad people, and it didn't dawn on me. They thought by engineer, I'm talking about the guy that drives the train.
Yeah.
I'd rather put pins in my eyes than drive a train.
Yeah.
I like to play with them. I don't want to get serious with them. I wanted to be an electrical engineer.
Back when you were a kid, you wanted to be an electrical engineer?
Yeah,
So you had that in your head.
as far back as I can remember.
Why electrical engineer?
I like diagnosing, analyzing, controlling.
Yeah. But they didn't think that,
I was stepping outside of my class.
yeah. Yeah. So they were telling you you couldn't do that, it was beyond you?
Yeah,
Okay, and they put down that idea, huh?
yeah.
So you went to high school. Anything special happen in high school? Do you remember it as being a good time or?
No, it wasn't a good time.
Really? What do you mean?
Well, my family wasn't educated, all right. They never even looked at my report cards.
Yeah, okay.
I could forge them and nobody would know it.
Yeah, they didn't look, huh? Nobody looked? Your grandmother didn't look?
No, well, she'd had trouble reading it anyway. She went blind shortly after I went to live with her.
Oh, really?
And she had to have a coronary transplant in both eyes, and she did have it at Boston City Hospital. That was.
Yeah.
And she got enough of her sight back there so you can see she could cook and do the chores. But they never encouraged me.
Yeah. So you went to school, wasn't eventful. You don't remember anything special about high school?
No.
No. And so right after high school, you decided to go in the service?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it. And advertisements on TV. And it said, join the Navy, get an education. They had ads like that. I said, Jesus, the Navy, I like the water. And I can get an education. I can learn to be a mechanic or whatever they're offering.
Yeah.
So I went to the Boston, to the post office building. They had a recruiting office in that building. And I got directed there by some Navy recruiters. And they asked me what I wanted to do, and I said, I want to be in the Navy. I want to get a vocation. I want to get educated. But what do you want to do? I didn't know what to do, so I said, I want to fly airplanes. That was just a joke on my part.
Yeah.
And the guy turned around and said, wow, you've got the grades to do it, because I had good grades, but I didn't take subjects that were challenging, so it didn't mean anything.
Yeah, okay.
But he acted like it meant something.
Yeah.
I said, what's going on here?
You take an IQ test with them?
Yeah.
So he was looking at your IQ test and some of the other stuff that came
He
through.
must have been, because
Yeah.
he wasn't looking at my grades, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So you went in the service, and then what happened next?
I went to boot camp for 91 days, passed with honors, and got a 30 days leave back at home. I went home, and I was an enlisted man. I was a third-class seaman. I was a third-class petty officer, third-class seaman. And I went home for 30 days, and I went back to Bainbridge, and then surprised. Sousa, 902-4844, front center now. My front center. You've been selected for OCS at Bainbridge, Maryland on such and such a date. And I would advise that you be there on time. That's when I went to OCS.
Now, was that before or after you went to the South Pole?
Before.
Okay, so you went to OCS.
I went to OCS,
And
officer's candidate.
And you got an increase in your grade. You became an officer.
No, when I passed the course, I became an ensign. Yes.
Okay, so
Lowest ranking
you were
officer.
more than a private.
I was not an enlisted man anymore. I was an officer.
You were an officer. Okay.
I was a.
And then what happened?
Well, I got some good grades, and there was a program the Navy was trying out. They couldn't get guys that are educated to join the Navy to be pilots, and the Vietnam career was a problem, and Vietnam was coming to be a problem, and they had to get guys. So they put a program together where they'd take high-scoring Navy enlisted men and to test them and educate them to fly these planes and see if they can get enough guys put together so they can make up some squadrons of fighter pilots. And so I was one of the guys that was selected to take it. It was over 400. And almost everybody flunked. The first test, the Good Men, or whatever it was the name of the TV program,
A few good men.
Few Good Men. Remember that scene in the pool?
Yeah, well, they dropped on the pool.
That's the truth. That was the pool that I was in, and I went down. But I was a good swimmer. I wasn't afraid of water, so I get down to the bottom of the pool and I'd fuck her off.
Yeah.
And then the chief gets on the horn. He could talk through the water, and he says, "Sousa, you don't want me to come down there." And I knew what he meant. I didn't want him to. So I broke the straps. I hit the button and freed the straps, cut them out, swam out from the simulated cockpit out into the pool, and then we're up to the top. And the chief was just looking at me, and I knew if I didn't do what he said, he'd drown my fucking ass.
Yeah. Hey, let's hold off on the swear words. We want this to be a G-rated production.
Yes.
Okay.
So anyway, I swam it, and I was one of the guys that passed. There were 7 guys that passed out of over 400.
400, and you were one of 7. Yeah. So what happened after you got out?
I was given another 30 days leave and went home. And I came back, and they announced that I was being transferred to San Diego, California. I was going to be stationed on the USS Curtis, AV-4 seaplane, then the heavy class. And the rest will be given to you when you get there. So I took Navy transportation from Bainbridge, Maryland, to San Diego. Went there, and they said, "This is a special training for fighter pilots that are not graduated from college."
Oh.
And it was so much resistance from the officer ranks that the program eventually failed.
Yeah.
And it was a total of 7 of us that passed in both classes. And that's it. They killed the program.
But
And
you
when
made it. But you made it through.
I made it through.
So what happened after that?
Well, we went and they were trying to break us down. So we got together, the seven of us, and we promised each other that we would support each other. So if we got weak in one subject or something, the other six guys would come in and help bail them out. That's what we did. Then we went on a couple excursions over North Vietnam, and we were taking out some hostile facilities. And we did it without one American lost their life.
So we're talking, you were in the Korean War?
No, Vietnam. Very early.
You said, okay, it was Vietnam, okay.
Yeah, I was too young for.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So it was Vietnam that so you saw duty in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Okay. You were talking about going to the South Pole at one time.
Yep. After we got on the Curtis in San Diego, I was told, the whole crew was told that we are going to be transferring from San Diego, California, to the Antarctic. We're going down for a government exploration called IGY-2, International Geophysical Year 2. It's a worldwide thing that was participated in by scientists from all countries,
Yeah.
or most countries. And I crossed the equator, which made me, I was a polywog. If you never crossed the equator, you're a polywog.
Okay.
I was a polywog. I crossed the equator at 17 years old. And I forget what they call it.
A frog?
No. But anyway, I became a member of King Neptune's Navy.
Okay.
And our executive officer was a polywog. He had to go through the initiation fee too.
Okay.
That's the second highest rank on the ship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not rank, position.
Yeah.
And after Vietnam and the equator thing and stuff like that, the other guys started softening up to us. And then we were being involved with their heavy work. Like we had to go to South China Sea to offer protection to the Coast Guard guys that were bringing in replacement troops, bringing out wounded guys, bringing in new fresh supplies and stuff like that. We give them cover. The Vietnamese would have eaten them right up. We did that. And we were doing our job. We were carrying our weight. We got the respect of the other pilots. They didn't give us any shit anymore.
You told me that how much time did you do in the South Pole?
6 months.
6 months? And that was right after you went over to San Diego. You did your 6 months down there, then you came back, and you got back into flying again?
Well, when we came back from the Antarctic, you get your orders. They put them on a order book, order page. They put it on this bulletin board. There was my name, Sousa. Report to Pensacola, Florida, flight training by such a date. And I said, holy shit. And so I was nominated, and 4 of the 6 guys that were remaining got nominated also. The other 2 didn't get nominated, but I don't know why.
Okay.
They found something out that they didn't like.
Yeah, they came up with something.
Yeah.
Okay. But you went over to Pensacola, that gave you more flight training. And what was that flight training about?
Everything that is. Night flight, bombing, strafing, flying.
Landing on carriers?
Landing on carriers. When they put me through the landing on carrier test in practice, they did it with simulators. And then when they felt we were strong enough, they wanted to use a simulator. It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
And I was scared as shit. And when it comes time my turn, I was rejected, waved off, in other words. I can't remember, it was 12 or 14 times
Yeah.
before I got a successful landing. And after that, I did them one right after the other.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the first bunch was tough because you're flying strictly on instruments. You can't fly on your gut. You'll be dead on the first pass.
Mm.
So we did it, and I got waves off, come in again, waves off, come in again, waves off. I said, they're going to dump my ass. And finally, I got the guts to do it, 100% instrument. And the landing officer says, come on in, Sousa, this time get it. We want to go and get it, something to eat.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it came in, I brought him in, I caught the fourth wire, perfect. That's the ideal target, the fourth wire.
Yeah. Yeah. So how many? I understand you lost a few planes.
Yeah. It wasn't my fault.
It wasn't your fault.
The 13
Whose
plane-
fault was it?
Well, the first one was...
The guy with the flags?
No, that's World War II. There
Oh,
were no
okay.
guys with flags. They, the first one I lost, I might get the order wrong, but the first one I lost is on takeoff. There was something wrong, that it's called chafing. When the wires rub against something, it's common in aircraft. And they don't get to predict them all 100% right. And that's what happened here. It's a brand new aircraft. It's a common problem with aircraft, even commercial aircraft. They get chafed through, they chafe through the insulation, and they get exposed to wire, and it touches the wrong thing in there.
And it
It'd be a
screws up.
problem.
Yeah, it screws up.
That was how I lost the first one. It chafed me just as we were about to take off. And that's not a good thing. So you have to eject right away. I mean, without thinking, right away. Or otherwise you won't be able to eject in time, because the plane was going to go either to the right or to the left. Because there's only a minor difference in RPM on the jets will make whether that thing is to the right or to the left. And if it's far enough, if it's at 30 degrees, it's too much. If you eject, you're going to eject right into the water and kill yourself. So you got to eject. It has to be instinctive. It can't be...
You have to eject where you go, so you can go up versus down.
Right.
Yeah.
The sooner you eject, the further up you go. There's 25%. You might survive that, but not likely. Anything below that, you're not going to survive it.
Yeah.
And
So you did that one, you lost a plane. How much was that plane worth?
$80 million.
Yeah. Then you moved up and you got another plane?
Same kind of plane.
And you
But this one had guns on it. The first plane didn't have guns.
Yeah.
The designers of the aircraft didn't think that dogfighting was going to be in anymore. That was old-fashioned. Well, they're full of shit. Because when I was in Nam, I don't know what Nam they were in. When I was in Nam, we did a lot of dogfighting.
Hank, we're going for our second take here today. This is July 10th, 2019. I'm here with Hank Sousa. Once again, Hank, you do have a glass with you, don't you?
Right here.
Good man, good man. Okay, here's to you, and here's to me, and here's hoping...
That we never disagree.
But if we do,
the hell
with you.
Hey, for me.
There you go. We ended by talking about Hank crashing a couple of planes off a carrier, which he was very good at.
$80 million is a lot of
Yeah,
money.
$80 million a copy. Not bad for a Polish guy. You know, it's hard to believe the government would give him an $80 million plane, but they did, you know. They got what they deserved.
By the way, this is my very good friend,
Yeah.
Henry.
And also, I am a staunch believer in fiscal responsibility, especially with my money being spent by the government.
On my
and
planes.
believe me, $80 million a copy, it's not good.
That's $80 million then.
Yeah, then. Yeah.
That would be $160 million today.
Today, yeah. So that's a bit of a problem. You know how many immigrants we could bring into the country with $160 million? You
How
know?
did I know he was going to say that?
So anyways, well, but let's make believe they're Polish immigrants, right? Then we can bring in a whole bunch because they wouldn't cost us anything.
And there's very few of them come, as far as I know.
They don't want to come. You know, they're happy where they are. But anyways, getting back to business here. So Hank, we didn't talk about how you found your way out of the service. So let's take a look back at what happened.
Well, when I was down in Antarctica, I had received some head injuries that weren't a problem in the beginning. Started to become a problem.
Hold it a second. You said Antarctica?
Antarctic,
okay.
Antarctica is north.
Yeah, but we were talking about Vietnam.
Yeah. Oh, I was talking about the plane.
We're talking about
That's
how you
another
hurt
guy.
yourself and how you could find your way out of the
Yeah.
service.
Well,
Now,
the way
I heard you ran into a vicious penguin once.
the way
And matter of fact, wasn't that an emperor penguin?
yes, it
And
was.
didn't he whack you off the back of the head?
He whacked me in the front with a
I can't
paddle.
believe that he broke your neck with just one whack of an emperor penguin's
No, I
leg.
bet he could if he wanted
Yeah.
to.
Okay. Well, that's because you weren't giving him any beer.
That's right.
You know?
Exactly right.
God
The
damn it.
reason I brought the Antarctica because where I broke my neck was really in the Antarctic. We hit an iceberg. We were going about 25 knots. We were responding some emergency response, and we hit an iceberg and put a 70-foot gash on the starboard. I think it was the starboard side, 12 inches above the waterline. Not a good thing.
Well, wouldn't 12 inches below the waterline be worse?
No, above the yes, that would be worse.
Okay, that would be worse.
And the
So-
bosuns were
okay.
working 24/7 to put temporary fixes, band-aids.
Yeah.
And the mothership of a Russian whaling fleet, because they were still getting whales, even though it was illegal, they did it anyway. But they came to our help. And I'm not so sure things would have turned out the same way if it wasn't for their help.
Yeah. What'd they do?
They brought mostly pumps and other equipment and any kind of help we had, because a whaling fleet has a mother ship, and what it is a floating workshop. They can make anything.
Mm.
So anything on that ship that breaks or goes away or whatever it is needs to be changed. The mother ship can do it. She has all the materials to do it. If we broke a shaft to drawing one of the screws, they could make it.
When did this happen?
1956, I think.
Okay, 56. So roughly,
56, maybe 57.
roughly you went to Officer Candidate Program. They sent you over to San Diego. From San Diego, they sent you, and you ended up in the Antarctic for a while?
Yeah.
Okay. And you got in this accident. You say you think you broke your neck in that accident?
Yes, it didn't break all the way through, so they didn't think it was serious other than it was a bad injury.
What did you do, take a head injury?
I was thrown when we hit the iceberg across the room and hit a bulkhead seam. The bulkhead's a solid sheet of metal. When you get to the end, they bend it like this. Okay, and the next sheet goes up, has a similar pattern, like here, and they use rivets
Yeah.
to pull them together. They're so tightly bound that becomes a waterproof connection, and they're able to separate one.
So you went
device.
across the room and you hit your head against the bulkhead.
And I bled like a stuffed pig.
Yeah.
But head injuries, it's common to bleed, so nobody thought anything
No,
of it.
but yeah.
And I went a number of years without any incident. And then one day I woke up in Amesbury, Massachusetts, and it was like little fingers coming out of my skin on my two arms.
When Amesbury, Massachusetts? When was that?
I was a civilian.
Okay, so
Sometime in the 60s,
how many years out of the service were you then?
couple of years.
A couple of years, okay. So, but you thought nothing of it. You kept on going. You found yourself back in active duty. You got out of the Antarctic. You got back to San Diego, wherever it was, and then you got repositioned on a carrier. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think I've seen the hat a few times. But was it the Enterprise?
The BE. Yeah.
Okay. And you were stationed...
There was another carrier I was also stationed on.
Okay.
And that's the Coral Sea.
Now, did you fly missions into Vietnam off the Coral Sea?
Yes, both ships.
Both ships, okay. So one day you come home to the Coral Sea, and the next day they tell you to land on the Enterprise, and so on that one mission they swapped you back and forth, or you
I
have
was
a couple of
stationed
missions?
on Coral Sea, or I was stationed on the Enterprise.
Okay, so you complete that mission, then the next time you go out, they put you on another...
Well, no, you actually make you part of the ship's crew.
Yeah, okay. So now, okay, so
And the
you...
motto for the
So you did 2 tours on aircraft carriers.
Oh, I did more. I did about 5 tours.
5 tours, okay. And the last one where you got injured, you were flying a mission into Vietnam?
When I got injured? Yes.
Well, okay, so tell us about the mission.
I don't know if I can.
Okay. Do you remember it?
Yeah.
To some degree.
Yeah.
Were you going in to protect somebody? You were going in to blow somebody up? Or
We were going to take out some communication.
take out a
Not
target?
communication, transportation. Trains and stuff.
Oh,
like
okay, you're going after trains, okay. And so you made a run. Were you going into North Vietnam or South Vietnam?
that. No, we were in South Vietnam. We were going to North Vietnam.
You were going into North Vietnam?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you made that run, and you took some flack, and then you were coming back, and you had some contact with MiGs.
Yeah, the Russian MiGs.
Yeah.
They were being flown by the North Vietnamese and the Chinese.
Oh, okay. Not by the Vietnamese.
South Vietnamese? No.
Yeah. North Vietnamese.
North Vietnamese, yeah, they probably had some, but not in that particular instance.
Yeah. Okay. So you came back, but so you engaged with them, but your ship was damaged.
Badly. But we promised each other that we were not going to go down to North Vietnam because we knew what they'd do to us.
Yeah.
And we managed to get the ship over the South China Sea, and we ejected because of the extensive damage to the ship. My Rio got injured during the ejection.
But he died from that injury.
Yes.
Okay.
Eventually, yes.
Now, were you injured from the ejection?
No.
Okay. So, but you got banged up from it.
Oh, I got banged up, but I didn't get.
You took a head injury again?
I'm not sure.
Okay. I thought you had told me that you got banged up when you ejected.
It banged up is one thing. Getting injured is another.
Well, yeah. Well, banged up and injured means the same thing to me.
Not to a pilot.
Okay. But now the injuries from that ejection put you in a situation where you were injured to the point where you were out of the service, right?
Oh, I was already out of the service when it came up this really bad. I got up in the morning in Amesbury and the little fingers.
Not Amesbury. What I'm asking you about is that last mission that you did in Vietnam.
Oh,
And was that the reason why you left the service?
yes.
Okay. So you left the service.
I didn't leave the service. I was invited to leave the service.
Okay, and that was because of the injury
Yeah.
that was suffered in that last run,
Yes.
in which your Rio was killed.
Okay, we're getting confused. My Rio got injured and killed by a reaction of his aircraft to damages done somewhere else. In my case,
Okay, Hank, well, you had told me before, okay, was you had told me that your plane was damaged, okay, you took some flack, your plane
Yeah.
was damaged,
Yeah.
You tried to make it to the South China Sea. When you got over the sea, you had to eject.
Yeah.
When you ejected, your Rio, he got blown through the canopy, and you also, so you went off just a little after him, so just slightly after him. You also hit your head on the canopy, but you were not killed, but you were banged up badly. He was killed, I mean, you know, he was injured, yes, but he died like shortly thereafter, after they recovered him. And you were banged up, but you survived it, and you left the service because of the injuries that you suffered from that that injection.
You got it perfect.
Okay, so we got that. Okay,
Yeah.
so we missed that part. Okay, so now you left, and you know, you did a number of you did almost a year in the hospital, right?
9 months Bedford VA hospital.
Bedford. Okay, so you were here in
Bedford,
Massachusetts.
yeah.
Okay, and you did 9 months.
Yeah.
So, and while you were in the hospital, is that when you decided you want to go back to school?
Yes.
And you decided you wanted to do
Well,
what?
I decided a long time ago. I was trying to find out a way to do that. And I guess I had to get injured to get it.
Yeah, okay. So you looked into this thing of going back to school, and you met with some people over at Northeastern.
Yeah, I went there first because they had a good engineering program. The only thing I didn't like about them is they had this program where you worked X number of time a year, so they got on-the-job training. I didn't want that. I wanted to go and do all my scholastic stuff, get that done, and then go. Because I had experience as a technician and stuff like that. I didn't think I needed it.
Yeah.
And they make exceptions. And we made an exception for me to do the first 2 years of my undergraduate program, but they didn't like to do that.
But you were saying that before they'd accept you, you had to go to prep school.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have the credentials
Yeah.
to get accepted into a good engineering school.
Exactly right.
So what happened there?
Well, I went to Northeastern because I knew they had a good engineering college. They had a guidance counselor, and that I could get what I needed to get from them.
Okay.
One-stop shopping, if you will.
Yeah.
So I went to see the student counselor, told him my story, and said, what do I do? He looked at my transcripts and said, well, you got some work to do here. You willing to do it? I said, whatever it takes. Well, after talking to the guidance counselor at at Northeastern, that I wanted to go to a good engineering college, the best one I could get in. Hopefully that would be MIT, but I don't think so. But that's my high goal. But I want something like that. And the guidance counselor at Northeastern told me he'd get me in a good college if I do these things. I was concerned about doing it because I'd be going to Newman Prep. These guys are 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 years old. I'm going to be going to school with them. I'm in my 30s. That's not going to work. He said it'll work. Give it a try. So after much convincing, I gave it a try. After the first day, I called the principal. I said, you couldn't get me out of here with a crowbar. It was wonderful. These kids were high performers. They weren't kids. They were high performers. They were engineers, scientists, physicists. They were all these things that most people haven't even heard of. And these are kids. They're not kids up here. They're the best thing that ever happened to me.
So Tank, you did 2.5 years at Newman Prep, and that set you up to go to Northeastern?
Or any school I wanted to go to, I picked Northeastern.
Yep.
In my second year, I was approached by IBM. Maybe I approached them, I'm not sure. What happened was they had an ad in the paper, they were looking for graduate engineers. So I told the two guys who was with me, I said, well, we're almost at graduate engineers, we qualified, let's go see what they got, because they had a free meal. We went there, and somebody approached and says, you guys are graduate engineers? Well, not exactly. We're still in school. And what are you? We were electronic engineer majors. When we said that, the curtain brushed aside and two guys walked through it, grabbed us and said, "Follow us." The IBM was looking for guys like us. They knew we were disabled veterans. We were all combat except for me. I got injured. My bad injuries weren't in combat, they were in the Antarctica. But anyway, where was I going?
Well, you got a deal. You were escorted out by two IBM execs.
Yeah,
They were looking for you.
They were looking for guys like us. Turns out the draft was still going then. And what happened is IBM has lots of engineers. I mean lots. And their engineers that they have are relatively recently out of college. So they're all young guys. They are definitely eligible for the draft. And IBM didn't want to lose even one. So they went to the government and they made a deal. And they said, if you give us a deferment for every 2 service-connected disabled veterans, we either give them a job, or we give them school, or we give them both. We give them something, and you give us a deferment on the draft eligible engineer. And the government agreed. So for every 2 engineers for every 2 injured vets that they did something for, they got 1 deferment. So they saved their engineers. And they were wonderful. I was one of those guys. They were going to transfer me to University of Vermont, UVM. UVM does not mean University of Vermont, by the way. It's the initials for Latin, and I forget the Latin, which is unusual because I know Latin. And what it was, the University of Vermont. And sometimes I take a right, my mind takes a left, and my body goes straight. So I got to flip a coin to see which way I'm going. Okay, now I'm back online again.
You think so, huh?
This is my friend Henry. If you haven't met him, you need to meet him. But anyway, I went.
So we're talking about UVM, and
Oh yes, I says UVM is not going to give me a certificate of completion for an undergraduate program where half of the classes were at another institution, Northeastern. And one of the representatives from IBM put his hand on mine and said, "Mr. Sousa, you let us worry about that." As soon as I heard that, I knew money was involved. And it was done. I got a degree in electrical engineering, undergraduate, from University of Vermont, where half of the credits were received at Northeastern.
so you go to UVM, you graduate from there. So when did you start having kids?
About that time.
Did you get married too?
Not on the first one, no. Then I got married.
Okay.
And I tried to be a good father, but I screwed up.
Well,
I really screwed up. And I just want my kids to know that I love their asses more than anything in this world. And all I can say is I'm sorry, I made mistakes. That's all I can say.
okay, so you got married and you're at UVM, but you graduated. So where do you go to work?
No, I went into the hospital. That's when I had the thing in Amesbury. The little fingers.
So right about the time you graduated from UVM,
Yeah.
you became hospitalized?
Yeah, I was hospitalized in Bedford, VA hospital. in
Okay,
Bedford,
and how long
Mass.
were you there?
9 months.
Not 9 months. Okay, now this is not counted the 9 months after you got shot down in Vietnam.
No,
This is another 9 months.
Yeah.
Okay, so you went in there for 9 months, and that's when they diagnosed the broken neck?
No, they didn't die. They diagnosed some problems, but they didn't prescribe any surgery.
Yeah.
I went into the hospital 9 months. I come out of the hospital, and I went to school for something I forget. And
Was this related to the, I mean, you got your degree.
I went to the VA hospital again. They thought they fixed the problem, they didn't. So I went to Aintree Hospital. They couldn't do anything. They sent me to another hospital in Aintree area. I can't think of the name of it. That didn't work. They sent me to Manchester VA Hospital. They couldn't do anything. They sent me down to the VA hospital in Boston. What's the name of it?
JP, Jamaica Plain?
Jamaica Plain.
Yeah.
And the doctor was a jerk. So I couldn't do anything. And they said they'll take me to Salem, Mass, where the doctor is a specialist at this kind of injury. And I said, I don't know who he is. He said, just try it. So I did. They put me back on an ambulance. They took me to Salem. He examined me and accepted me. Dr. Arena was his name. He was a miracle worker. Most guys that get the kind of surgery that I have walk around and look like they have a 2-by board jammed in the back of their neck. I have 98% movement. Same kind of surgery. One was done by Dr. Arena, one was done by somebody else.
So you had that surgery done by Arena.
Dr. Arena.
This was after you got out of UVM.
I was out of everything.
Yeah, and but now you're recovered. You got the surgery done. You recovered. How long were you married at that time?
I was in the hospital almost a year, so
I know
I was married that whole period.
I know you married that period, but how long had you been married now?
Close to a year.
You had been married close to a year. So you had one child before you got married. You must have had another child after you got married. So now you had 2 children. You had 5 children to total, right?
Yeah. Then I went.
Okay, so this is the early stages of your marriage.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you finished. Now but now you're in Massachusetts, in a hospital for almost a year. So that must have been difficult in the marriage.
It was difficult on everything.
Yeah, and but you got out of the hospital and you started to improve.
Yeah, I went to work.
Where'd you go to work?
Consulting at different companies on 128.
128 where?
128 in Massachusetts.
Okay, but where were you living?
At that time, I was living in Reading.
Oh, you were? Okay, so you moved the whole family to Reading?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we were living with one of her sisters.
Okay.
And the reason I married her, so that she could get some money from the VA. They don't give any money to the spouses, but they give more money to the veteran if he's married.
Oh, okay.
And then that money I give to my wife. It was more than enough for her to run the household on.
Yeah.
While I was in the hospital. I didn't want her with my children and being unable to provide for them.
Yeah, okay.
So I did that.
But you had 5 children, so you had them within a short period of time.
Bum 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 bum.
Yeah. So, but you were now, and for the first 2 years, like up to the second year, you were in the hospital again.
Yeah.
So now you're out of the hospital, and you're feeling better. You're getting work. You're working as an engineer, electrical engineer. So how'd that go?
It was wonderful.
Were you working in Massachusetts most of the time?
At first, and then I was all over the place.
Okay, and your family was in Amesbury, or they were in?
At that time, we were living in Amesbury.
So they were living in Amesbury.
Then after that, we lived in Missouri.
Okay.
And then we lived in Salem. Then we lived in Derry.
Okay, so you're moving around a lot.
Yeah.
When did, but the marriage broke up after, what, about 8 years or something, or 10 years?
Some short periods, yeah.
Yeah, but you had to go to court because there was a problem.
Yeah, she was doing stuff with the kids that was wrong. So I went to court. They gave me custody of all the kids. She didn't want custody of anything except the older kids. She wanted the babies for me.
Mm.
I didn't have a problem with that, but I said the Sousa packages were single package. You take them all, or you don't take none.
Mm.
That's what I said. And the judge wouldn't give me Sean because Sean was born out of wedlock.
Mm.
And I got bullshit at the judge, and I was chewing the judge up. He says, if you don't sit down, Mr. Sousa, we'll hold you in contempt. I said, Your Honor, if you issued an order of contempt against me, it would be the first piece of justice this court has ever given out.
Mm.
That's true that I said that.
Yeah.
He didn't put me in jail.
But he did give you custody of the 4 children.
Yes.
And there was a reason that you wanted custody. And
Yes,
that was because your ex-wife was,
Her and her husband.
yeah, they weren't taking care of the kids.
Her sister's husband.
Yeah. So there was some trouble there where the kids were being abused.
They were being abused.
Okay, and you took custody of the kids.
Christy and Kathy told me about it.
Yeah, yeah. And you got therapy for the children. You tried to get the kids to go to therapy and to help them out with this. But the kids were like from the ages of what, 3 to 8 or something?
Something like that.
Yeah, okay. So they were all still quite young. But you got divorced after about 10 years of marriage. And then when did you remarry?
After that was a long time.
It was a number of years?
Yeah.
Okay, and that lasted how long?
10 years.
Oh, it lasted 10 years for the second marriage.
I think so, but I'm not sure. Oh, the second marriage?
Second marriage.
I don't know, it wasn't very long.
Okay, wasn't too long maybe. I think you had said 2 years or something to me.
Yeah.
Okay, and then how long were you single before you remarried?
Not sure.
A few years?
Not many years, but
Not many years, okay. And you married Elaine, and that lasted almost 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Why'd that break up?
Because of me, I think.
Pardon?
Because of me.
Yeah.
I wasn't,
I heard you had said once that there was a lot of pressure. You were going through a bankruptcy.
I was going through a bankruptcy and I was going through a problem with the IRS.
Mm.
And Elaine can't deal with any kind of problems like that. She can't deal with them.
Yeah, it was
She
very
actually
difficult.
breaks down.
Yeah. Well, that's understandable. Sometimes people can't handle pressure,
You know.
especially if the threat,
So I
of,
sent her
threat of
home
the
to her
government.
parents.
Yeah.
She didn't want to go.
Mm.
And Corey was being Corey.
Mm.
But I felt I had to send her
Mm.
because she wouldn't deal with it. I said, I'll send
When
you.
she left to go home, how old are the kids now?
Well, Corey's 49.
Yeah, but how old were they then? Were they in their 20s or were they in
Oh,
their
no, they were
teens? Were they
kids.
young? When she left, they were young. They were still young.
And who left?
When Elaine left. See, because you were married to Elaine for like 10 years. There were several years before you remarried your second wife. That lasted a couple of years. Then you were separated for a few years. Then you got married to Elaine. Sounds to me like your children must have been in their late teens.
Yeah.
And you were married to Elaine for 10 years. So it sounds to me like the kids could have easily been in their 20s.
Yes.
When
they were.
when you divorced Elaine, or when Elaine went home.
Yeah.
But the kids were already adults and they had kind of gone off on their own.
All except Corey.
Okay, but Corey was one of the older kids.
Well, Sean came to live with us for a short period of time.
Yeah. Okay.
But he was too screwed up. I just couldn't let him.
there were issues there. Yeah. Okay, so but then Elaine went back because of the pressure. But Corey.
Well, she went back because I forced her to go back.
Okay.
She didn't want to go.
But she couldn't handle the pressure.
But I knew
yeah.
what would happen with the pressure.
Yeah.
You know how the IRS can be.
Mm.
They're nasty bastards. And I didn't want her to have to face that.
Yeah.
Because I knew how she would react to it.
Yeah.
And,
But she never came back,
no,
and you didn't go down there to get her.
no. I went down there a number of times. She came up a number of times.
Oh,
And
okay.
we spent weekends together.
Oh, but it never
But
never came
to
back
fruition.
together again. Yeah. Well, that's too bad. During all this, was Corey living with you? Or any of the kids stayed with you while?
Corey did.
Did
Chrissy
he?
came with her 2 kids for a short while.
Yeah, okay.
She needed help. She said to me one time, she said, Dad, I can't do it with 2 kids. How did you do it with 5 kids?
Mm.
And I told her what I understood to be the right answer, that society's not fair. So I'll give you an example. Your father goes and changes the diaper for one of his kids, and the neighbor notices that. What a wonderful guy Henry is. He changes the diapers for his little babies. Same scenario, but it's Chrissy doing it this time. She's making the diapers for the kids. The neighbor sees it and says, I don't know what she's bitching about. If she didn't want to change diapers, she shouldn't have had the kid.
Yeah.
That's society.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you never know what somebody's going to say. You never know what's going to get in your
Yeah.
head.
So I told
But you
Christina-
had told me stories about consulting, writing microcode, for device drivers, stuff like that, working as a hotshot at deck, having the Corvette, all that good stuff, you know? And also, you ran a TV repair shop at one point.
Yeah, when
And I think you ran it out of Norwood. When did that happen?
no, I ran it out of Lawrence.
Oh, well, Lawrence, okay. So I misread that one.
Yeah,
So-
and I ran it and I was making money within less than a year.
Yeah,
I was making the same money I made as an engineer.
yeah.
But I had-
What year do you think that was?
Shit, I don't remember.
80s, 90s?
Oh, 80s at least.
80s, yeah. So you ran the repair shop, but then you were smart enough to sell it off and go right back into engineering
Yeah,
and go back into writing device drivers and stuff like that.
yeah.
Okay. And you had, and so you were working with what, DEC for a number of years?
I worked for Deck. I never worked for Wang,
Yeah,
but I worked for Deck, Raytheon, all the major corporations except for Wang.
yeah. And you owned 3 Corvettes
Yeah, all the
during your lifetime? Yeah.
The last one was a white one, and
Yeah.
Elaine used to call it the White Blight.
Yeah, yeah.
And one day, we had 3 cars. I had a car, she had a
Yeah.
car, we had a spare.
Yeah.
Something happened to her car. We needed the spare.
Mm.
She needed to be able to get to work.
Mm.
And the spare was the Chevy Corvette,
Yeah.
the white one. So I said, take the bet. I said, you're a competent driver.
Mm.
Just don't nail the accelerator.
Yeah, yeah.
And so she took the bet. She was telling me later on in the day when she came home from work,
Mm.
and I came home from work, and we're having a cocktail, a glass of wine, before we get on to dinner. And she was telling me she got on 128, and these young construction guys in that truck, there must have been 5 or 6 guys in that truck, see this good-looking woman in a Chevy Corvette, you're gonna bust her balls big time. That's what they did.
Yeah.
So what did you do? She said, I stepped on the gas and watched them disappear in my mirror. She
Yeah.
never called it the White Blight again.
Yeah, she liked it. She liked it.
She got rid of those young guys.
You had trouble with your health later on.
Yeah.
When did that happen?
That time in Aintree when the little, I call them little fingers come up.
No, I'm talking about more closer to retirement, when you were 60 or 65 or 70. When did you start having trouble again? Because you used to mountain bike and stuff like that.
I did all that stuff.
Yeah, you did all that stuff. So for a period of time, you were doing okay, but you did have a problem with your weight. You were a big guy,
Yeah.
you know, so
I got rid of the weight.
yeah.
I don't know.
But you don't remember when you started to have trouble? Was it like when you were 60 or 65? Closer to the IRS, I mean,
Could be.
Social Security retirement? Do you remember that?
Yeah, it could be. I was sick then.
Yeah, okay, so you were sick then, and you started having health issues, and then, and you've had, these health issues have kind of gotten a little more serious
So
over
they
time.
finally they've diagnosed me correctly. I have seizures. They're finally accepting that.
Yeah,
And the way they got this doing it, I did it right in front of the doctor. I had a
Yeah.
seizure. So I had a seizure, the last seizure, when I was up in Norwood in the hotel,
yeah,
and I took a taxi
yeah,
to the West Roxbury VA hospital. Well, the cab driver was a guy I knew. He knew me. So I told him where I was going, what I was doing, and I had a seizure.
yeah, yeah,
And I don't remember anything in the seizure.
yeah.
And he told them the information they needed to figure out who the hell I was.
So Hank, you're 80 years old.
Yeah.
You're not a kid anymore.
You think so?
Yeah, I think you're past the kid stage, so you got a couple of years on you, so you're a little smarter than when you started out.
People argue at that point.
Yeah, for sure. And you have anything you want to tell your ex-wives?
Well, I'm sorry. It's funny, but
Yeah,
it's not
that's a tricky one, because ex-wives are a difficult subject.
Yes, they are. Well, it's difficult for them too.
It's very difficult for them. It's not an easy thing.
But I'm more concerned with my kids.
Yeah. Well, let's walk it back. Elaine was here, didn't work out. She went home.
Well, it was my fault it didn't work.
Yeah.
I think she's a great woman, but she can't handle stress. And with Corey,
And hold on a second here. Let's go back on that. So you're saying that living with you might be stressful? Is that what we're saying?
well, now that you mention it, you're probably right. Yeah.
Okay. Now.
But I was
okay.
dealing with the IRS.
Now
And I know how ruthless they are.
let's go on to the other really important issues. The kids.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I could have done a lot of things differently.
A lot of things better?
Much better.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mistakes that I wouldn't have made.
Yeah.
A lot of stupid things that I've said that I would never have said.
Geez, I know how that feels. Yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody does.
Yeah. Well, yeah. First, you have to make them before you realize how you screwed up.
No, of course.
So. Hey, what about the grandkids? I met 3 of them, and they were good kids. Good kids.
Corey's kids. Chrissy's kids are grown up and gone.
Didn't meet them.
I met them. I call them met them because that's what happened.
Yeah.
And my daughter Christine has 2 children. She has a boy and she has a girl. Well, Corey has 2 kids, 3 kids, and one a teenager, a little bit older maybe, and 2 girls. Wonderful girls, bright girls. And like every other family, children aren't the same. They're different.
Yep.
They're people.
Yep.
And I wanted to see them. I missed them.
Yeah.
But my son has chosen to cut me off.
Things happen.
My daughter Christine's out in California, last I heard.
Oh, really? California? Wow.
Texas, I'm sorry.
Texas. Oh, Texas? Yeah, well, it's nice. It's nice to hear from them if it happens, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, Hank, we just had a recap of Mr. Sousa. So here's to you.
And here's
It's
to
to
me.
me.
Let's hope we never
Disagree. But if we do, the hell with you. And here's to me.
Right. You like that one, don't you?
I like it a lot because it's true. Where's my bottle of wine, Hank? You took my wine.
No, you put a cork in it. So
Oh, there it is.
Where?
I got it right here. And Hank, let's do an ending scene. That's all, folks.
That's it.
Okay, now hold it right there. One, let me take this down. 1, 2, 3. Give it 3 seconds. That's all, folks.
That's all, folks. Thanks for listening.